What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Startup Storybook podcast. I'm Daniel Pierce, here with my friends Turner Ray and Wes Orr, and we have an awesome guest today. We have Blaize Whitaker on the pod, and his business is called Hard Work Realized. We're going to hear about it. We're going to hear all about it today. He's a professional powerlifter. I'll say professional, yeah. So if you could just tell us a bit about you, a little bit about your business, Blaize, just get us started here.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
So my name is Blaize Whitaker. I am a former Team USA, collegiate Team USA powerlifter. I competed in Estonia in 2022, and I got ninth place in the world with a 360 pound, uh, sorry, 300 kilogram deadlift, which is a 660 pound deadlift. Um, so yeah, part of the idea for Hard Work Realized came from competing at Worlds. And one thing I noticed at Worlds is a lot of people didn't have like cool design socks. Um, they were made out of cheap materials and weren't eco-friendly. So what I did was I took the initiative and I started up Hard Work Realized, which sells eco-friendly, cool design socks made from high-grade materials.
So for us non-power lifters, can you explain to us like, do y'all wear the socks every time? What are they used for? That type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. So deadlift socks are around the calf socks, and they're used particularly for deadlifts to prevent from the bar from scraping across your knee. So obviously that's a biohazard if people are bleeding on the bar and stuff. So that's why what deadlift socks are there for, to protect your shins against the bar.
Very cool. And so,
Yep.
kind of when you said you were at Worlds, right? Kind of noticing this problem. Obviously, you've been lifting for a long time, so you've uh, used all the different types of socks. Saw
Yeah,
this
for sure. I've
problem.
been lifting for about 10 years now. So
Okay, there you go. And so you saw this problem, and obviously you're a college student. You're gonna be in your third year this next year. Um, how did you kind of start your business with noticing this problem and also still being in school? And what was your process for getting started up?
yeah, of course. So, like a lot of other guests on this podcast, I was a participant in the Springboard contest. So, essentially, I was able to pitch my business to the Greg Center, and I was able to win $5,000 in order to start up my business. So, currently, we're in the production process. I'm still working on getting my product in, but we've got a few mock-ups going, and I'm pretty excited about the new product.
And so obviously, kind of like you mentioned earlier, your unique value is you have eco-friendly socks. But I know you were showing me and Daniel some of these. They're pretty cool looking too.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
you're trying to also have some fun designs. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah. So right now I have a wave version of the sock, which is inspired by waves and water and that sort of thing, and then we have a flame version, uh, which is inspired by flames, obviously. Um, One of the main things that I came up with this business for is before going to Worlds, I really wanted some flame socks because my name is Blaize, but while looking, I couldn't find any that looked like that. So I went and created them myself.
No, that's awesome. Something that I was just thinking about for a second there. So you say that the socks are eco-friendly. Well, I, you tell me about foods and what other sorts of things and making them in an eco-friendly way, but I don't know really about socks. So tell us about how you make socks eco-friendly.
Yeah, so they're 100% cotton,
Okay,
made from eco-friendly cotton material.
cool. And is there a special manufacturing process along with that, or is it just the
Oh,
material?
for sure. Yeah, so right now we're using our partners. They're called Hippie Feet. So what they do is all of their socks are eco-friendly, and they also give 50% of the manufacturing profits to homelessness. So I think that's a pretty cool part of the business.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Absolutely.
Nice.
When did you start selling them? Are you selling them right now?
So I'm not currently selling them. I don't have them. Uh, I haven't seen a pair of socks yet. So I started ordering them towards the end of March, and I'm still waiting on them. Obviously, creating a new product takes plenty of time, so there was some snags in the production of them, but they should be well on their way now.
Mhm.
Awesome. So that's kind of like a little bit of background on your business. Why don't you tell everyone about yourself? So, college student, what are you majoring in?
Yeah, so I'm majoring in business management. So business management with a focus on entrepreneurship. So I've done a lot with the Griggs Center. Had a really good time with that. Business management. I'm going on a around the world trip this summer, so I'm pretty excited about that. We'll be going to San Francisco first. We'll be visiting Google there, and then we'll go to Japan and Singapore, India, and then the UK. So I'm pretty excited about doing that. I run uh, two student orgs at ACU. I'm president of ACU Cinema Society, and then as well as ACU Powerlifting, which I'm trying to start back up again. So got a lot going on. Pretty excited about that.
Hmm.
I'm
Uh,
also a multimedia minor, and I compete in Film Fest every year. So Film Fest is also a huge thing for me that I'm super into.
yeah. How popular is the powerlifting club? Is there a lot of people in that, or are you just trying to start it up?
I'm just trying to start it up. I tried a lot freshman year, but I guess the way I was doing it didn't really work out. So I'm hoping to restart trying to do that again. Um, I was really trying to push for competitive athletes last semester, and that didn't really go the way I planned. So I think the way I'm gonna pivot the powerlifting club is to make it more of a chapel experience. So maybe do like a barbells and Bibles on like Saturday mornings or something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's really
Barbell
cool.
and
That's
Bible.
yeah, good pivoting for sure.
Yeah,
I actually love that. Barbells and Bibles.
yeah.
That's good.
Well, cool. So now that we've kind of gotten both sides, you mentioned earlier you are doing the springboard competition, which I
Mhm.
think almost all of our guests, except for Savannah, have been a part of so far.
Yeah, for sure.
You obviously won. So, just again for everyone listening, the springboard competition is ACU's entrepreneurship program putting on a pitch competition where this year 5 teams or businesses were chosen to win $5,000. So that was the $5,000 Blaize is mentioning. I'm assuming some of that is going to your order for your first pair of socks.
Yes.
Um, what else are you planning to spend that on, and how are you going to grow hard work?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously a lot of that went to legal fees as well. I've got my LLC set up, so that costs around $500, not 5,000. Um, and then ordering the socks that was around $3,000. So that's really where I'm at right now. I'm also paying for a Shopify subscription, but that hasn't really kicked in yet, so still in the free trial there. So
How much? How many socks is $3,000 worth of socks?
so I have 240 pairs of socks right now. So hopefully they come in soon and I can get to selling.
I could do the quick math in my head, but I'm just curious. What are you selling them for?
I'm selling them for about $30. I'm buying them for about $12.50. So
That's a good margin.
yeah,
And so, where do people go buy these socks? Because I'm assuming powerlifting is not something you go into like
yeah, for sure.
Target and get socks, you know?
Yeah. So I plan on selling at booths at gyms and powerlifting competitions and things like that. But primarily, I have a website. It's called hardworkrealized.com. It's not up right now, but it is in the process of getting uploaded.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's really cool.
How are you making the socks? So you're ordering them off of Hippie Feet,
Yes.
and like, are you just ordering it like, is that final, or do you like order them and then like do your own stuff to them? How does that work?
So the way it works is I contacted the CEO of Hippie Feet. His name is Michael Matter. And I was able to work out creating this new product with him. So they're going to create the socks, and then the only thing that I have to do is just package them and ship them.
That's insane.
Awesome.
So they're doing the whole manufacturing thing for you, and then you just do the designing.
Yep. So I just need to find it. They also did the designs as
Oh
well.
wow.
Did they take a
So
cut? They definitely take a cut, right? You have to
yeah,
pay. Yeah.
for sure.
Cool. Wow. So are you just doing a lot of the management parts then? Is that what you're
Oh yeah,
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 okay.
for sure.
Wait, so how'd you contact the CEO? I looked him up here. How'd you
Yeah. So
contact?
on Hippie Feet's website, there, if you scroll down, there's a button for contact for new businesses that want to start up
Hmm.
or collaborate and make some new socks for like licensing fees and things like that.
Is the powerlifting? I'm curious about this. Is the powerlifting like industry? Is it sort of an undersaturated industry where like a lot of people could start a lot of businesses? Like, or is there like a lot of innovation? Is there not a lot of innovation? Is it sort of an open? Is it sort of an open ocean?
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. Um, powerlifting is one of the fastest growing sports in America right now. High school powerlifting in general is exploding right now, I would say. Um, Here in Abilene, we have the Texas High School Powerlifting, and that brings in over, you know, 200, 300 athletes all from across Texas each year. So I would definitely say that it is growing in huge amounts.
And kind of with that, I mean, I don't think any of us really know much about powerlifting.
Mhm.
What's kind of like who is the specific person you're targeting? Like, what is your ideal customer look like?
Yeah, so that would be high school age, college age powerlifters. Typically, the younger powerlifters are more into design socks and care more about being eco-friendly. So that would be our main demographic that we would be targeting.
Hmm. Do you have any
Like,
pre-orders yet?
No pre-orders yet. I haven't even done a quality check on the socks, so I don't really want to sell something that I am not confident in.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I'm still curious. Back to where you're gonna sell them. So you're saying like in gyms there are kind of like a section where you go in where you can get a Celsius, a drink,
Mhm.
something, or and then your socks as well.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. I think in the very beginning stages, I might reach out to gyms to kind of set up my own table and booth to kind of get the word out of there through the business. Um, and then hopefully I can work up an agreement to sell the socks at the gym.
Where did the name
So
come from? Hard work realized? I mean, I sort of get, but
mhm.
why'd you choose that for the name?
so that's kind of what powerlifting is for me. I played football a lot in high school, and through football you don't really see the fruits of your labor. Most a lot of times it can be with school politics and things that mess up in the way that you don't really get to see your hard work realized. So with powerlifting, everything you put into powerlifting, you're going to get out of powerlifting. So you're going to see that hard work realized on the bar when you're lifting.
Wow. Wow. No, that's really cool. That's cool. Cool. So, uh, I guess I want to go back a little bit more to the personal side because I'm curious, like,
Yeah, for
about your
sure.
growth in, well, one, coming to college and doing powerlifting, and then you've told us already how you started the business, but I want to know how you've evolved while pursuing the growth of this business.
Yeah. Um, I definitely, from starting powerlifting or starting the business.
Both, but let's focus on powerlifting first.
Okay, yeah. So I started powerlifting in eighth grade.
Mhm.
Um, that's where I really started getting into lifting and getting into form. And powerlifting helped boost my self esteem quite a bit. That made me very confident in my abilities, where football couldn't really do that for me. So that's one reason why I love powerlifting so much. Not only does it boost your self esteem, but it also, um, makes you find community. It makes you build new friends and new friendships along the way. So that is one of my favorite things about powerlifting is just building yourself up and then building others up with you.
Mhm.
And then kind of through starting the business, I definitely grew a lot in learning a lot of this stuff. Knowing about all the legalities of owning a business, and how to get loans, and how to you know go to investors and things like that. So I've definitely enjoyed being a business student. I used to be a multimedia major, so I switched over from business, and I haven't regretted it.
To business?
To business, yes.
Cool. Wow. Well, that's
The
great.
football and powerlifting thing. I think what you were getting at is sort of how it is much easier to see like notable improvement in powerlifting versus football or
Yeah.
versus other sports, because powerlifting, seeing your improvement, it's very quantitative, right? I
Hmm.
lifted this much, a few weeks ago. Now I lifted this much. That's more. That's better. And so like it's easier to see your improvement. You know,
For sure.
it's easier to see like I went from this place to that place. While with like football or like baseball, yeah, there are like metrics, but the sport revolves a lot less around those metrics. While
Yeah.
with lifting, it's like the goal is to like get your new PR, or
Hmm.
it's very like quantitative. So I can see how that sort of makes it almost more interesting and almost more addictive. Is it sort
Yeah.
of addictive? Yeah, it's addictive.
I would say so. I mean, after you hit the 500 mark on deadlift, like you just want to go up and up and up. So.
I know Turner's close to that.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
totally.
yeah. Passing 225 or 400 or any of those weights on bench or deadlift, like, is great.
So
It's an amazing feeling.
with deadlifting, like, how mental is it? Like, if you're going up for a competition and okay, I have to lift this much. Like, what is
Yeah,
what do you have to think there?
I would say definitely most of it is mental. Um, it's about letting go of the weights that are on your mind already, and really just going for it and pushing through it. Um, usually when I'm going up for a deadlift, I always run up to the bar and I say, "Let's get this, let's get this, let's get this, let's go." So it's about really getting yourself hyped up, getting that adrenaline going. So I would say a lot of it is mental.
Do you use smelling salts?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do you have a specific brand?
So I like Zone smelling salts. They're kind of a new startup as well, but they make some that are like in a metal can and they're like vacuum sealed. So it's kind of intense stuff.
Because I've tried them before. Not that, but like, dude, it like I could smell the chemical like the entire day after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was walking around campus and like I could just smell like the chemical or whatever
Yeah,
just
you
in
just
it.
gotta waft it. You know what they
I
tell
could get
you
like
in
stuck in
science
my nose.
class.
Daniel took a huge sniff of that thing and like
Yeah, you,
a whole
you
week's
stick them up
worth.
your nose. Like,
Yeah, I was awake after that.
yeah,
I'm sure.
But you went
Well,
to
works better than
Worlds,
coffee.
right? Worlds? How does the competition work? Like you went to World Championships, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
How do you do that?
So you have to go through the IPF, which is one of the federations associated with Powerlifting America. And so, in order to go to Worlds, you have to compete in Powerlifting America. Um, and then you have to go to Nationals with Powerlifting America. So, for me, that was in Reno. So, I traveled to Reno. I got second place at Nationals, which allowed me to go to Worlds in Estonia. So,
Second place in nationals?
yeah.
Is there like age groups?
Yeah, so there's age groups. So I was in the collegiate age group. So I could either go to collegiate or I could go to age division. Age division worlds is in Malta, but collegiate worlds is usually in a different place every year. I think this year it's in like Saudi Arabia or something crazy. They're always in strange places, so it's always exciting to go though.
So you're the second best like powerlifter in your age group in the country?
Yep.
Dude, what? How does how can someone make money from being good at powerlifting? Starting
Uh,
a stock business, or are there other
there's
ways?
not a lot of ways, but it's starting a business like I did, or uh, being a social media influencer.
Have you Do you do that or no?
No, I don't do that.
Have you thought about it?
I've thought about it. I'm not very good on camera.
I was gonna say you could leverage that and like try to blow up your brand that way.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
just kind of awkward, so
or even like even faceless, you could do that, or even
yeah,
like off social media, even like on the website. Like you could definitely leverage. I mean, because your business really just evolves around you and your story and this passion of
yeah,
yours.
for sure. That was a big part of my pitch. In the pitch video, I remember I even wore my Team USA jacket, so
Oh wow.
that was a big selling point.
So I'm curious, with all of this experience you have in powerlifting, has any of that transferred over to school or like working on the business, or like what
Yeah,
similarities?
I mean, I definitely would say it makes me more disciplined. Um, Sometimes school and powerlifting can go head to head. Uh, Priorities go head to head, but I think powerlifting has taught me a lot of discipline, a lot of day in day. Everything is day in and day out is kind of what I've learned from powerlifting, and just time management as well. Trying to get powerlifting in school and having a girlfriend and all of this and that and a work and job as well. So
When you say a job, you mean managing this business, or you have another job
no,
on top of this?
nope, I have another job. So I actually work in the tourism and convention center, um, convention bureau. Sorry about that. So that's on North First Street in Abilene. So I've had a lot of fun doing that, getting to meet a lot of people from around the world that come visit Abilene.
That's really cool.
And
Yeah.
and are you in Abilene for the summer?
No, I am not.
Oh,
I'm in Lubbock right now, getting ready for my study abroad trip.
Hmm. Where are you studying abroad?
So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going on the Dukes Around the World trip.
Oh,
So
all
that's
right. My bad. I missed that.
oh, you're good.
and so Blaize, obviously your goal is for this to be in, I mean, assumedly like every powerlifting gym there is. Um,
Hmm.
but as I make that assumption, I'm kind of thinking, well, powerlifting is different than like people going to Planet Fitness, right? Um,
Right.
is there like a point where maybe you spread into different markets? Like, do you have other product ideas? That
Yeah,
type of
for
thing.
sure. So obviously, I'd love to get some apparel done. I'd love to get shorts and t-shirts and hoodies and things like that. I really want to expand into more powerlifting gear. Get singlets and wrist straps. Um, I actually started talking to a company in Coleman, Texas, right outside of Abilene that makes wrist straps. So I'm hoping to get something worked out with them in order to make customers wrist straps as well.
And I mean, this just came up to me too. Could you like sponsor athletes?
Um, Athlete sponsorship is usually not something that's done in powerlifting. It's usually meet sponsorships or collegiate team sponsorships.
And is that something you'd be interested in doing?
If my brand got big enough, I would.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Because hard work realized. I mean, if you rock up with some hard work realized merch, you know they're spending the time. You're in trouble.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think one similarity between lifting, powerlifting, and business is staying as consistent as possible, right?
Hmm.
And so, especially with lifting, consistency is important to obviously get better and improve. I'm wondering, how do you deal with um, feeling unmotivated or not feeling like, getting your lift in for the day? Um, because you don't become the second best like collegiate lifter in the country, without having some consistent schedule and having some trick or something that or some system that can help you get out of that can help you get out of those sort of unmotivated ruts.
Yeah. So I guess one of the biggest things is I go to a 24-hour gym in Abilene. It's called Firehouse Fitness. Uh, so doing that, I can pretty much go at any time I want. So if I get home from work at 5 and I don't feel like going, usually after an hour or two I feel like going. So um, usually it's lifting late at night, early in the morning, just really getting in the gym. Once you're in the gym, I feel a lot more motivated. And pre-workout also helps a lot. I wouldn't say rely on that. It's not the most healthy thing, but on those days when you're feeling really unmotivated, pre-workout can definitely lift your mood quite a bit.
And for those of us that are not familiar with that,
Yeah, so pre-workout is I guess I don't know, call it lifting Kool-Aid with like a bunch of caffeine and like taurine and vitamins and all these other supplements
Beta
that are
alanine,
involved.
is that one? Never mind.
Oh, you're good. I use a Panda supplements. Theirs is pretty intense, but it gets the job done for me.
I've tried some where like it makes your like ears and your lips itch.
Oh yeah, that's beta alanine.
Beta alanine, yeah, that's right. But I feel like momentum is huge. Like just getting in the gym. Um, I feel like your environment wherever you are can help you
Hmm.
sort of just take that first step, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And even if it's just well, because none of us have, you know, like not every day can we give 100% of our full potential. And so I think especially just pulling up to the gym or, you know, working 5 minutes on the business or anything like that, just taking a small step can help you take your next step and then your next step. And then before you know it, you've had like a 45-minute workout and you're like, wow, I didn't feel like doing that 45 minutes ago, but I just did it, right?
Yeah, as long as you get something done, you're accomplished.
Yeah, like something's better than nothing.
Yeah,
That's a good lesson.
1% every day, right?
yeah, 1% every day, 1% better every day.
Yeah. James Clear writes about that in his Atomic Habits book.
Yes.
Let me pull
Hmm.
that up.
Have you, any of y'all read Atomic Habits? It sounds like Daniel has.
Yeah, I've listened to it on Spotify. That's my favorite feature on Spotify. I can just listen to books all the time.
Uh-huh. Well, I agree. It was a great read, Daniel. So anyone out there listening want to figure out how to.
You read it?
Yes,
One of my
I've
favorite
read
books.
it.
Look at this. Or I found
Yeah,
it.
it's great.
Power of Tiny Gains. 1% better every day. You take 1.01 to the 365th power, and you get 37.78. And the opposite, worse every day, you get 0.03. And you can see the graph here. Over the course of a year, improvement or decline, just getting 1% every day. It's exponential.
And that's what Kobe Bryant was all focused on because he would get in 4 or 5 workouts a day and practice and shots. And that's why he said he was so much better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, leading up to Worlds, I went twice a day, and that was quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess kind of bringing a little bit back to your personal life.
Mhm.
Has faith played a role in either lifting or working on your business at all?
Yeah, so I think faith is in everything we do. Um, Always try to remain good to people and good to God. So that's kind of my main philosophy in life is love God and love others. Powerlifting community especially is so loving, and I always try to create a loving environment for us to be in community. I think God created us to be in community. So with the business, I hope Hard Work Realize can bring people together in order to love each other and love God.
Awesome. Is the powerlifting community like religious in any way, or is it kind of like a mixture of both?
I would say it's a mixture of both, but it's not really like football where you've got rivalries and you go head to head. Everybody's really got each other's back in powerlifting. Um, Everybody's rooting for each other uh, because whatever's on the bar is whoever's winning. So it's not really about beating the other person. It's always about lifting each other up, which is one of my favorite things about the sport.
Do people trash talk? Do you
You
trash
know,
talk?
not really. I think you would be kind of a cornball if you trash talk in powerlifting.
Oh,
There's
that, that's
some
interesting.
world famous powerlifters that like to do a lot of that. There's Russ Swole, who's a big guy, but he's kind of a cornball. So
Is there kind of a culture of like respect and sort of healthy competition around it, sort of?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that was one of the most surprising things when I went to Worlds, is just how supportive everybody across the world is of each other. You know, I was facing against people from Iran and Sweden and South Korea and Japan, and we were all rooting for each other. And surprisingly, a lot of people spoke English as well. So it was really an amazing thing to see all of the world combine in order to support each other and be there for each other. So
Reminds
That
me
is
of the
really cool.
Olympics.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like entrepreneurship has some of that culture too, like especially at ACU. But I know just in general, like we all want great ideas to succeed,
Yeah,
which I think is a great thing.
yeah. Competition only makes business better. So
Exactly.
Flip that.
Definitely will clip that.
yeah.
Wes, I feel like you've been cooking something up.
No, I don't really got much. I don't got much.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
I guess Blaize, for other college entrepreneurs who maybe are in a situation like you, where you have this niche thing that you are very good at and know a ton about, you have this idea and you started something. For
Mhm.
someone who is in a similar position but isn't sure whether or not they should pull the trigger, do you have any advice?
Yeah, I would say you've got to get it out of you. Um, it's only gonna get more and more up inside of you if you don't, you know, release your creativity into the world. Um, that was one of the biggest things with me is I always want have so many ideas, and I always want to make them a reality. So don't be afraid to take that first step. Um, because you never know what could happen. Uh, yeah.
And after you started, have things changed? Like, is your original idea the same thing, or like have little tweaks been made along the way?
Originally I didn't have the idea of being eco-friendly, but I was lucky enough to find my partner Hippie Feet in order to implement that eco-friendly aspect.
Yeah, it's great. Because I know a lot of people, well, just humans in general, are afraid of change, right?
Hmm.
Like our consistency, our routine. We stop at the same place for coffee every morning. And one of the things that entrepreneurship and starting your own business provides is the one rule is no day is ever the same as the next. Things
Hmm.
always change, your plans change, you have to pivot. So I think that's one thing that maybe turns people away from entrepreneurship a little bit. And I think that the discipline that maybe you've learned from powerlifting, which whoever knew that lifting weights applies to business, right?
Yeah,
Is that discipline that even if something does change, well, you'll just adapt with it. You don't have to necessarily be scared away by
yeah, for sure. I would totally agree.
Did you experience any of that fear starting Hard Work Realized? People like
Oh,
sort of fear like that you'll look stupid or that this product is something that no one wants or something like that.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just still going through a lot of that. So I'm hoping that our product turns out good and that a lot of people want it. Uh, but still going through a lot of that. I also run with student orgs, so with Cinema Society, that was a big thing. But ultimately, I kept doing Cinema Society, and our membership grew to about double. We've got about 15 to 30 people coming for movie nights every Fridays at 7 p.m. So that's one of my biggest accomplishments in college was growing Cinema Society to what it is now.
And how do you balance all of these things? Your two student orgs, school, powerlifting, your business. Like, how do you make all those happen so well?
Yeah, I'm doing my best. Yeah, doing my best. Really, it's just staying motivated. Uh, staying off my phone was a big thing for me. Um, and yeah, just focusing on what can be.
And do you have any like specific processes? I know a lot of people are like a Google Calendar uh, is like their main thing. Like, do you have specific things or tricks for anybody?
Yeah, I'm a Google Calendar man.
Okay.
I do all my scheduling on Google Calendar. So
Dude, for me, if it's not in my Google Calendar, it does not exist.
yeah,
Man,
yeah, I've
Even if
got
it
my whole class schedule on Google Calendar every year.
same,
So
yeah, it either doesn't exist or I'll literally forget about it
yeah,
every time. Even if it's class, I will.
yeah.
I like the reminders app too. That always helps me for homework and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I have ADHD, so I got to do everything last minute. I think the ADHD is part of why I do so much.
Well, but also I think that's a thing with entrepreneurs. Like everyone in the Grigg Center runs like four businesses and teaches and has kids and like I think as entrepreneurs we love the excitement of something new and
Hmm.
some cool idea. And sometimes they're pretty bad ideas and don't work out. But the excitement of, oh, well, this is something I've never done before. Let's go
Yeah,
do it and figure it out. I mean, that's what gets me excited and wanting to.
for sure.
And I don't think it's a bad thing. I've heard the quote, um, if you want something done, give it to the busiest person.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a reason that successful people don't have a lot of time on their hands. So
yeah, for sure.
better to be busy than not have anything else to do.
Yeah.
And back on the organization thing, that reminded me of another quote, uh, which is that the brain is for having ideas, not holding them, you know?
Hmm.
And so, yeah, Turner loves that. Um, and so that links to ADD, ADHD too, because I've experienced some of that as well. And
Hmm.
at least for me, I'm like, I can be forgetful a lot of the time. And I've found like my systems like Google Calendar and like making like my to-do list and stuff super helpful when it comes to not forgetting things and getting uh, things done sometimes. So that just reminded me of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I assume you know a ton of people in the powerlifting space. Like your network, I'm sure is pretty large.
Hmm.
What do they think about your business? Have you told many of them about it yet?
Yeah, a lot of the people I've talked to are pretty excited about it. Um, I think the number one thing I need to do is just get more designs. Uh, so hopefully these fire and water ones go well, and I can get more designs on the website. Um, but they are pretty excited about it. They do agree that that is one thing that's lacking is something that's super high quality and looks good as well.
And for people listening, uh, one thing I love about this business is how niche it is and specific to him, right? Because Blaize, you've been doing this for 10 years, and it's just something you know a ton about. My
Yeah.
business is similar. It's for people playing an instrument that I've played for my whole life. And I think those times when you can just do something that is part of your daily life and is an issue and something you don't like, well, there's bound to be people who have the same passions, do the same thing, and have those same issues. So I think that's if you're looking for something to start, but you don't know what to do, look in your daily life. Try and find something that is just a pain, annoying, something you don't want to have to do again.
Yeah, that's good. Some of the greatest ideas or greatest solutions to problems can be found in your own everyday life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or other people's everyday lives.
Hmm.
Sometimes people have bigger problems than you. And if you want to create a good solution to a bad problem, sometimes you need to look at other people's problems. That's one thing I've realized.
Well, and
For
that's
sure.
a lot on customer discovery. A lot of what entrepreneurship classes teach is to not just
Nope.
kind of invent something. Uh, Hopefully, Blaize
He's
comes back
gone.
in a second.
How much you
But
want to
not
bet he clicked the leave call instead of share button?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're right next to each
He'll be back
They-
quick.
Okay. Am I back?
other. Yes.
Okay, sweet. Sorry about that. Yep, so here are the socks we have right now. If you can see my screen. So that's the fire and the water socks we're working right now.
Those are awesome.
Yeah, and so that's our logo in the center.
Yeah, well,
And
you
then
already
that's
have a
our-
built-in product
our
name
header.
for the fire socks. You're just going to call them the Blaize.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you calling the water ones?
Probably
The
waves.
waves?
Yeah,
That's thick.
yeah.
So is the top your logo or was the middle thing your logo?
The middle thing.
The middle. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Let me pull it back up real quick.
HWR.
Yeah.
Strength, style, function.
For
Dude,
sure.
the text at the top is sick.
Yeah, I
That's
always
sweet.
love a good metal band. So, kind of looks a lot like metal.
Yeah. Well, so Blaize, you said your website isn't quite up yet, but
It's not quite up yet.
once it is, where can people go to find your socks?
Yeah, it's just hardworkrealized.com.
Okay, and then do you have any social media?
Not yet, but I plan on starting one soon.
Okay, awesome. Well, Daniel, Wes, any other last thoughts?
Other than thanking him for coming on.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure hearing a lot more about something that none of us really know much about.
I want to ask the question I asked last time at the end, and it's that, Blaize, what advice would you have for any 18 to 22-year-old entrepreneur or someone who wants to start a business like yours? What advice would you have for them to take their first step if they're feeling some of that fear, like, oh, what are people going to think? What are my friends going to think? Are they going to think I look stupid? Is this a bad idea? What advice would you have for them?
I would talk about it with a lot of people. Most of the time when you introduce a new business idea, people are going to be so supportive. And I think the number one way to gain revenue as a small business is friends and family. So I think talking to your family about it, talking to your friends about it, talking to anybody you can to let them know about your business is one of the best ways to start.
Awesome. All right. Cool.
Sweet.
You want to wrap this up, Daniel?
Yeah, sure. It's been a great conversation. It's been awesome hearing about all your stuff, dude. That's super inspiring. Everyone listening and watching, go check out Blaize Whitaker. Hard work realized. He'll let us know when his website is up, and so we'll promote that. But check him out on his social media, Instagram and LinkedIn, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Blaize Whitaker.
I do have a LinkedIn.
Yeah, Blaize Whitaker, all platforms.
Yep.
Sweet.
Sweet.